McKinney Lions were able to step away for a moment after an 0-3 start as Coach Jeff Smith joins us now. And Jeff, with district play opening this week, what did the bye do for your team?
I did a lot of things. We got healthy. We had a few nagging injuries that small things. Jonathan Shannon had a toe and a few groins and different things that just needed some attention, and so gave us a chance to get healthy, which we have gotten a lot healthier over the week. It also gave us a chance to just work on things that needed to be worked on and kind of catch our breath and not have to put a game plan in for a week. We got to actually go out there and work some fundamentals and work some things that we needed to really work on. And also we got a kind of a head start on Wiley. We got to implement some things during that week, so we didn't have to put in as much early this week on a short week.
Wiley coming up this Thursday. Before we talk about the Pirates, let's look back at some of the highlights from your last outing against Boyd to close out non-district play, a 38-28 loss to your crosstown rival. This one a couple of weeks ago, packed with drama late, Jeff. Early on, your defense stood tall.
We were really pleased with the defense. I thought they took some really good steps, and you're right, it was a 7-7 ball game after the first quarter, and the defense was playing well.
Jeff, you said, as we see J.J. Johnson nearly coming up with an interception on that opening drive, you had a lot of players grow up defensively. Some guys who didn't make noise early on finally were loud in this one.
We really did. You can see, that just comes from kids playing. Dalton Harris really stepped up big. Jonathan Shannon played both sides of the ball. Played really good at corner. J.J. Johnson played good at corner. Several kids, and so it was really it's something we're excited about building on.
And how about TV Williams stepping up when Red Shannon had to sit at some points? Williams, that 66-yard touchdown catch to tie the score at 7.
Yeah, TV's got a lot of speed. He's got some great tools, and he's a sophomore and he's still learning. But I tell you what, we're excited about how he's growing as a player.
Robert Somborn, the area's top 4A passer after 3 weeks, how did he handle what was a tough night overall? We see Shannon as he was flipped. That's where he dislocated his toe. Somborn had a hard luck night, 6 interceptions overall, but he kept coming back.
He did, and Robert's really grown mentally, and I know we had some turnovers, and we cannot continue to do that, and we addressed that. But Robert bounced back the next day, and he's ready to go play Wiley. And that's what you got to do as a quarterback.
And Robert was your leading rusher on this night, Jeff, 78 yards on only 5 carries.
Robert pulled the ball down a few times and made good decisions, and Robert can run the ball. And we don't run him a whole lot, but it was good to see him taking advantage of that.
You were down 31-7 at the half. Your team could have packed it in, but it never did. Here in the third quarter, Boyd went up 38-7, had a field goal attempt as your defense was able to stand up in the red zone. And look who blocks the kick. Red Shannon, he blocked an extra point the week before against the Colony. He blocks a field goal here.
Those kind of guys are not just anybody can block kicks. You got to kind of find that guy, and obviously Red is our guy. He's done that 2 weeks, and we're excited about that.
Use some trickery here. The hook and lateral, picking up big yardage as Quentin Kasner flips it to J.J. Johnson racing down the sideline.
Kids enjoyed working on that during the week in practice, and J.J. did a good job executing that.
You mentioned Dalton Harris's name just a moment ago. He's lurking on the sideline. He picks off this pass from Russell Williams as your defense was able to force stops when Boyd put in its second team.
We did, and started gaining a little confidence, started seeing some guys excited, running the football and having fun out there, and that was really good to see.
Williams bobbling the snap here. Once again, Dalton Harris in the flat, the same play and the same result. Harris with another interception.
Again, we couldn't be more pleased with Dalton and how he's playing, and he's really, having played JV last year, he's really grown into a good player for us on the defensive side of the ball.
I like the prelude to this play. Kasner and Somborn communicating right before the snap, and Somborn setting up the screenplay. Kasner takes it in as he dives for the end zone, and now it's a 38-14 ball game.
Yeah, we're still battling, and obviously Kasner and Somborn have had a great connection this year, and they'll continue to do that. And guys are keep battling, and that's what we're really pleased with.
Somborn threw his 6th and final interception on the next drive. Your defense was able to put it back in his hands. He finds Kasner, 4 straight completions. You're inside the 5-yard line, and your junior quarterback hooks up with Connor Fuentes for a 2-yard touchdown. Fuentes also catches a 2-point conversion. Fuentes hit late, That would play a part as you set up the onside kick.
Right. Obviously when you move the ball down, even if you don't get it, they've got the ball down there pretty deep. So it worked out pretty well, and fortunately we were able to execute this onside.
38-22, 4 minutes left. McKinney recovers the onside kick, and all of a sudden, Ron Post Stadium is waking up, especially those wearing blue and gold. You're in this game.
Yeah, it was pretty cool to see everybody getting into it, and the kids excited, that hey, this can happen, and we're just real proud of how they responded.
19-yard screen play for Red Shannon, dragged down at the end inside the 10, and on the next play, Somborn setting up once again. He finds Quentin Kasner. That's quickly becoming one of the best pass-catch tandems in the Metroplex. Kasner, your leading receiver, he had 13 receptions on the night. Somborn looking to the sideline, and he hits Kasner at the goal line for the score. 10-point game now.
That's right. And so obviously at that time we went for an onside. We didn't get it, and they were able to try to control the clock here and try to run the timeout.
Yeah, if you had gotten the 2-point conversion after that touchdown, It would have been a one-score game. Boyd recovers the final score, 38-28, and you made Don Drake sweat just a little bit. He put in his first-team offense in there, and he needed Brian Driscoll to carry it in all 8 times on that final drive to sew it up.
Sure, and they do a great job over there, and we knew that. Don and his coaches and those kids played very well over there, and they're a great football team, and we wish them well. And but yeah, we were proud of the way the kids battled, and that's all we can ask for. Overcoming turnovers of that magnitude is hard to do. You can't do it and expect to win. And we know that. Our kids know that. And so we've got to take care of the football and execute on both sides of the ball. I thought there were a lot of positives we took out of that game. On the defensive side of the ball, I think our defense, we found some guys really step up and really grow. And offensively, we know we've got the tools. We've just got to take care of the ball and execute.
What was more surprising to you, the 8 turnovers by your offense or the fact that you were in the game by the end of it? That shows a lot about the character of your team, for sure.
No doubt. The thing that surprised me were the turnovers, mostly because I've just not seen anything like. I've never been a part of anything where they kept happening, and it became kind of a virus or a disease. It just kind of, and that happens sometimes. When negative things happen, then another one and another one, and we've got to stop that as a football team. We can't continue to have mistake after mistake and turnovers, and the turnovers were attributed also to Boyd's pressure. They put great pressure on us, and so we give them credit for that. Some poor decisions, also some tip balls. So there were a lot of things that all go back to turnovers that lead us into a hole. And so, us playing the full game, that doesn't surprise me because our kids, they play like that. They play hard, and we expect that. And our kids give that to us, and we will continue to do that no matter what happens. But I guess the turnovers were the biggest surprise.
Jeff, you virtually had no running game the last 2 weeks offensively. You feel comfortable with how Robert Somborn can shoulder that offensive burden, but you would like to help him out. How important is it to create some balance as you move forward into district play?
It's very important. There's no doubt we can throw the football, and we've proven that we can throw the football pretty well. But being able to run the football is very important, and I've never thrown the ball this many times as a coach. I've always been very run oriented, and however, we've got a quarterback and some receivers that can execute that, and it's exciting, and we want to continue to build on that. That's part of our identity. But running the football, and Marquez Husband and that offensive line and Jimmy Benton and our slots that run the jet sweep and the different things that we do, we've got to be better at that. We've got to be more physical. We've got to come off the ball. We've got to take care of the ball, and we've got to establish a running game. That will help our offense control the clock more. That will help our offense just take some heat off of Robert in our passing game, and we really need to develop that.
Defensively, how do you build on what you showed against Boyd?
Well, first of all, you want your defense out there excited, having fun, making plays, being great tacklers, creating turnovers. We created some turnovers in this game, and that was something we hadn't done up until this game, which we believe in and preach daily, taking the ball away. And we were able to create some turnovers, some picks and things, and that was good. That was encouraging. We have to have that. For us, we don't want the kids thinking, and we got to actually line up and play a little bit and not have to do as much thinking. The kids have matured in how we line up and how we execute the scheme. Being a young defense, you've seen that evolve over 3 weeks. And so I'm excited, really excited about where the defense is going, and I see them growing in practice and in games. So I'm excited about the district run.
Yeah, and all the focus is on your district opener. The Wiley Pirates come to Ron Poe Stadium Thursday night. Wiley's a team that went to the state semifinals a year ago, a team that your club nearly beat. 23-20, Wiley came out on top in this game 1 year ago. Wiley's 2-1. What strikes you about Bill Howard's team this year?
They always play great defense over there in Wiley, and you know, Bill and those guys do a great job, and we've got to be able to move the ball on them, not just through the air but on the ground. And I think their front seven are very physical, very quick, very athletic, and we've got to do what we do, and we've got to execute, take care of the football. In a game like this, you know, we've got to, 5 yards is a great play. I mean, we've got to build on those and move the chains. We'll take our shots, but at the same time, we told the kids, hey, when you're getting 5 or 6 yards, that's a great job. Let's continue to move the chains, continue to execute. Defensively, they have a big offensive line. They get big splits in there and then try to run the football and throw it a little bit. I think the quarterback's more of a runner this year than he was last year. Obviously we've got to stop the run. And we've had 3 weeks of good running teams to get us ready for that. So that's what non-district is about, to prepare us for the district run, and I feel like we're prepared.
Jeff, thanks for the time. Best of luck.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Jeff Smith, head coach of the McKinney Lions. Last year, Wiley eked out a 3-point win over McKinney. The Lions and Pirates hook up Thursday night at Ron Poe Stadium, the district opener, a 7 o'clock kickoff.